All right, folks, we're back. Thanks for watching that commercial break. Very first one of the day. We do appreciate it, and we appreciate you. But it looks like the games we want actually don't quite have opponents yet. I'm just going to walk you through our thought process on this. So first off, if you haven't seen the brackets, you're watching live with us, type ! brackets in chat to take a look. But we're waiting on what is possibly either stats versus either reverse or major, or alternatively Beyond versus Breaking GG or Cloudy, as those are possibly members of the house fighting against some of these Koreans. And we definitely want to put a little bit of emphasis on the folks staying in our house in Korea. Like, to be 100% perfectly clear, we're never going to break the rules or make something like super unfair. But yo, for tournaments and stuff we got control of, I definitely want to give some preferential treatment to the folks staying in our house.
So we're just going to walk them over to the finals.
Yeah, pretty much. There you go. It's, actually, we just have a side bracket made for them, really.
Yep.
It's like this tournament's just like a qualifier to play a show match versus major.
Exactly.
Oh, I would also like to tell you guys a little bit about a on the 6th coming up, a tournament that Zombie Grub and I won't be casting, but will be casting on BaseTradeTV. So for those who don't know, No Regret is one of the folks staying in the team house in Korea. Oh, your cat is so cute. You can't do that to me and distract me like that, okay? That's not okay. How you Polo? No Regret is one of the folks staying in the team house in Korea, and he's actually working kind of as like a production manager for us in a lot of ways, just helping do cool video content on the ground for us because we can't be there ourselves. And I guess over the last couple weeks, there's been these sort of bet matches going on where members of the house have been challenging other members of other houses, and it's like $20 here and there, like just whatever's in their pockets, really. And I said, why don't you guys cast that? Why don't you publicize that? Like, we could probably even get your prize pool if you do that. So we've kind of set them up on a trial thing with majOr. No Regret's going to be casting with Rapid Casting here on BaseTradeTV on the 6th. And you guys are going to have some majOr codes. You can hopefully, I'm telling you this now because if you are around, definitely help them out, guys. Because if they use up all the codes, it'll be like $100 or something to give the players instead of like the 20 that they've been tossing back and forth. And I'm always very, very happy to try and help the players get more money. Of course, Zombie and I will be doing Corsair Cup that day, and that's why we can't cast it. But I think it'll be really cool if Jake can do a good job with it. I actually believe he can do a good job with it.
Believe in him.
Even if it's just him and Rapid casting, like casually chilling, eating chicken while they're talking about the game, I still think it'll be fun.
Oh.
But yo, I changed my mind on the matchup of what we're waiting for Zombie Grub.
Oh, okay. Why?
Because M. Canning advanced to fight against Gumiho. Oh,
Okay,
major advanced. Damn it! Okay, major versus stats.
So, alright then.
I'm sad about that now. I got so excited because if major had not actually been done with this game, we would have totally jumped into M. Canning versus Gumiho.
You're like in love with McCanning.
I am, because I've been loving his disruptor play, man. I've seen it here and there through clips, and I've caught his stream like once. But when we saw him in the tournament last time, he truly, genuinely impressed me. So I would like to definitely have seen more of him. And I wish him the best of luck versus Gumiho. But folks, this means stats versus major coming up next, TvP. Type it in chat, because we got a stream delay. But stats versus major, I think will be a pretty fun one.
Which one's major?
I don't.
No. Hold on. It's the Korean name.
Oh, of course, I had a little bit of an awkward interaction with stats before stream. I guess he didn't get his money for the BTSL finals, and I looked and it said it was sent, but I guess like there was a bug on PayPal or something, so I canceled it. I had to resend it to him this morning. He was just like all worried though that he wasn't gonna get his money. I'm like, bro, I got you. BaseTradeTV always pays out.
Okay. You said it in the cool guy voice too, I'm sure.
Oh, I felt like a cool guy being proud saying it, man. Okay, thank you, Shroom5. Another $2.50 dropping off saying, Shroom $5 total. I like that you just punned your name. Respect.
Well, I'm pretty sure this is major.
Like let's ask. I guess.
Well, and we're waiting. I mean, he did. Apparently, this guy played reverse, so it should be major. Who knows?
Yeah, it's just I'm wondering what we do with the name for this. I guess I'll have to create like a little thing on the overlay, which every time we title T, it breaks the stream, and I don't want to risk it. Like, could be some problems. Well, I don't know if it's major or not, but he's not replying in lobby, so also not ready to go.
Awkward.
I'm a little sad Killazur lost first round, by the way. I was really hoping to see him get a bit further into it. He's been impressing us a lot, too. Okay, I guess that is major. We'll roll with it. This will be worst case scenario. It's like one game goes down, major checks the stream and is like, that wasn't me. But I'm pretty sure this is major. He's speaking good English. So, yeah. Cactus Valley being the first map.
Also being pretty friendly. Stats.
I don't know if you guys can see that for the brief second the stream got hung up transferring in, but yeah, very friendly. Very friendly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Koreans. You guys so silly. Cactus Valley was also modified recently too a bit. Talk more on all this in a moment. But ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank Penguin _SC, aka the guy who sits next to True in his pajamas every time he's streaming, aka the guy who used to cast on BaseTradeTV when we've started up, and of course the guy helping run Sidestream Gaming. Thank you so much, Penguin, for that sub. Glad to have you back on board. But folks, kicking this brand new series off at the BTSL, powered by Twitch. In the top left side of the map, we've got the blue Terran player. It's majOr.
In the bottom left, as the red Protoss, he is Splice. Stats. He's pretty, I don't know what the word is. He didn't seem to enjoy that Cactus Valley was first map.
Well, I gotta imagine he's aware of the changes. For those who don't know, Cactus Valley had some impossible to reach Liberator spots. I think it was like up here by the mineral line, so they adjusted and moved these. So it's not so bad to play against Terran on this map now. Not to mention, again, the damage was tweaked. So there was a lot of things that were thrown around for changes and potential changes. And it should be noted that the Widow Mine damage, I do not believe at this current point in time has been tweaked, but the Liberator damage has. So, for example, I think it takes more shots to kill a Stalker, a Disruptor. There's a couple of key units in the game that like now take the extra shot to kill. Obviously, it'll still one-shot probes. It'll be annoying, but I don't know how much, again, Liberator usage will be prioritized nowadays, like if it's worth it or not.
It's still worth for harassments. It's not going to be as totally destructive when they're in those middling numbers in a main engagement. But my worry is that it's Terran, right? Like,
yeah, I know, but it's just like I guess the probe was really effective.
So you don't really like even use Liberators generally as a Terran player if you're gonna play that style until you're at 8 or 10. And I really feel like if you're at that number, it's not, you know, I'm not sure how much like not one-shotting two-shotting a Stalker is going to help. It might help drastically, but I'm not sure.
So that's kind of the thing, because we've seen these engagements where the Stalkers blink underneath, like 15 of them, and sometimes it's barely enough, and sometimes it's not even close to enough. So I think we'll see less barely situations, but I don't know. I always still think about like the one Liberator setting up on the side and killing 2 Stalkers before they kill it type thing. Maybe now it only kills 1. I don't know. I'm thinking like harass Liberators here more than like army engagement Liberators. Yeah.
Well, I think it's definitely like, you know, the first thought is the harassment Liberators, so now like it won't kill as many Stalkers when they're just kind of like A-moving, dealing with 100 other things like a Widow Mine drop and a Reaper and blah blah blah. But then you do have to go to like the very end game where Protosses are also having trouble versus mass Liberators, and we'll see what happens if we ever get to that stage. But since so many Protosses have started to really believe in Colossus, we might never see a ton of Liberators. As I was saying last game that a lot of Terrans are just going with Vikings versus Liberators versus Liberators.
I think more than even Vikings, just the tanks have become such a core part of the army. So that for me is immediately interesting as to major swapping this off. Now, if he's opening with a Raven and swaps that back for tank protection, I guess this makes sense, but there's no reason to really have that. Oh, okay, he's just going to build another tac lab.
Yeah, all right then. And he likes his Sim City nice and clean, so he's got to, reposition. It makes sense.
Now, I'm really curious what Major's planning for this, though, because obviously it's bio and not going to stick to, like, be weird at mech, especially that barracks just now coming down, but The Raven provides some interesting opportunities. I'm not even talking about just the free snipes on the observers. Like, you won't have to scan. That's awesome. You know, great for detection. But is there that much faith in the auto turret?
We saw Innovation doing double Raven even against Protoss. He still does it versus Terran, but he did it once or twice versus Protoss.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's proven to work really well versus Terran, but I think when the couple of games versus Protoss almost felt like experimental more than like, oh, okay, I've practiced this a bunch.
Yeah, but majOr is, you know, if you don't see him a lot, then maybe you don't know his style, but he is very, I'd say, experimental. Like, he has very solid mechanics, which is why at one point he was, like, a very fearsome foreigner.
Oh, yeah.
But then there was times where he was playing Mech, or Mass Cyclone, or Mech versus Protoss even, and it was a little weird.
For those who don't know, we've actually seen firsthand a lot of Koreans have not enjoyed seeing majOr on their side of the bracket, frankly, which I always thought was a bit strange, because he doesn't strike me as, like, the innovation, I fear fighting this guy type of player, but he's always been good. Now, the Raven, I guess, used this energy to kill the Observer. I was kind of curious. I was waiting for it to approach the natural, but I guess I made that stop off, and the Observer did, in fact, die. Back at home, tank set up with a couple Marines. These Stalkers are not going to be a problem. Stats, yeah, he's just going to be pushed away immediately. Auto turret in the front just doesn't quite kill the Observer, but it also leaves the Raven now energyless.
Kind of sucks. As long as the Raven survives, though, that's a lot of extra potential to do damage.
Absolutely.
I mean, don't look for one time and 2 auto turrets go in your mineral line. It's actually a lot of probe kills, and it can really help out if there's an emergency situation. They're all inning you. Oh my god, come back home, and they can help out either with the point defense drone or the auto turret. It's not a bad opener. The only like downside is that you don't have a medevac to fly around and do harassment, which is a little more controlled as opposed to the Raven. But it's something that obviously, you know, majOr thought was worth it.
Quick note, by the way, because I see some people joining us, I guess, just new on the stream. I've not edited majOr's name because the last few times we've been using the text editor on XSplit, it has caused it to freeze and has frankly ruined broadcast. So I'm just not fiddling with it for now. But this is majOr. The Terran player is majOr. He's staying in our house in Korea. Foreign majOr, not some weird Korean that has the same name or anything like that.
Yeah. Apparently he's using the TY's name. Like maybe his account too. He's a TY portrait, and then his Korean name is Taeyong. Like that's the end of it, which I think is TY.
Well, Zombie, but account sharing is against the rules and will get you in trouble with WCS. So I doubt that's the case. Hopefully, that he would
either it is TY's account,
stupid enough
like,
to bring that to a broadcast tournament,
or just it's a fan account and majOr wishes he was TY.
Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he did that to kind of mess with ladder, though. You know.
Yeah.
Your opponent thinks they're playing against TY, so they come pre-pepped with some conceptions that are wrong because it's majOr.
At all if it was a not shared account of the team house, that is. I know Scarlet likes TY, but this isn't going to be too bad, but it's not the situation that majOr wanted.
No, and I just want to really stress this because we talked about this well with Gumiho. Those tanks were on the front line. They weren't in the back, so easily sniped off by the Colossus. Again, the Colossus has like 9 range compared to the Siege tank's 13. It should not really be in range of it. But while this goes on, majOr does get a drop to the natural. It picks off one of the forges. You try and get the other, but he's going to have to pick up and get out of there.
That's not bad. You know, cutting down double forge will let you feel a little bit better anyways, because you see that and you got to know that you're behind in upgrades. He's probably clicked on the units as well. So it's a long way to go to catch up, even after killing that one forge. But he's on his 3rd CC. As I said, the attack wasn't the most terrible attack. It was a good move by stats to pounce on it, but it still traded okay. It really is about the upgrades.
This Raven's been so cheeky. I love it. I actually really, I'm not even being like silly with this. I like the presence this Raven provides. It's potentially scouting. It's obviously going to keep stats on his toes because he has to watch out for those auto turrets. Giving majOr the freedom to move and maneuver through the middle of the map.
Yep. So, as I said, like, the main concern right now for this game is not really, it's not army supplies, it's not economy, it's really those upgrades, and potentially letting stats kind of snowball with Colossus, but he's not even building any more Colossus. I don't think that's actually the worry.
Ooh, well, Colossus left on their own. majOr definitely wanted to jump on that. You saw that, that stim. You know he wanted to get in there. Unfortunately, though, is going to be pushed back. Raven managed to go the long way to come home, I suppose. He's going to repair that up a bit. 3 medevacs also going the long way to maybe try and catch stats off guard. Drop of the main while this goes on. Little Mines and a Marine. Not going to accomplish too much, however.
Stats doesn't have Blink though, so the Doom drops to the future, and this drop right
this
now
is so sick.
Actually kind of good.
This is massive because Major just scanned that army in the middle. He knew he had the option to get in here and go. Takes down the pylon, not going to mess with the Nexus, just kills a lot of probes, and now going to focus the Nexus. Something he should easily be able to pick up now and go to the main with. While this goes on, those Stats is going to push, though. He's not falling back. Major's trying to set up the defense, but it's not quite ready to go yet.
It's still, Bunker's going to take some shots. The missile takes out the Observer, so the Wood of Mines now can't be taken out.
Oh,
I think
you know what?
Major's defense is going to be just barely good enough with his army coming back home.
You mentioned no Blink. There's going to be energy here for a point defense drone, and these Vikings with the point defense drone can just move in on the Colossus.
Yeah, this is like a really good defense with the amount of Vikings, too.
Oh, killing that. He lost the Raven, but he killed the Warp Prism, too. Kills the Colossus. Great defense so far out of Major. Attack on the other side of the map was driven off, though, so it's not like he's getting away with a lot. 24 SCVs die. Good attack out of Stats, but Major shouldn't die here.
No, he shouldn't. But, killing 25 SCVs didn't make this into a no longer just, okay, this is going to be game scenario. Maybe Stats could play it through, but he's actually going to throw away the rest of his army by moving the reinforcements in here. And I don't think this was the good move. I think
he got a little bit desperate to try and end this. He saw that his army was doing kind of well for the fight, but yeah, the command center didn't die. It was lifted and saved.
Yeah. I think that's a little too much of a committal now with the other units dying. Like, otherwise, maybe there's a comeback.
Yeah, that's a little surprising for me to see Stats commit like that. I thought for sure, had he not lost that second round of units, maybe there would have been a bit more to it, but either way, nicely done out of Major as he does take game number 1. That'll give Stats map pick, though. Also, Jockshi advancing very quickly through the TvT side of the brackets. He's already in the round of 8. Doesn't even have an opponent for a couple of rounds still, because Innovation still waits on an opponent down there, too.
It's taken so long. Jeez.
I don't know. Thank you so much for that resub from Smurfs Are Us 8. Perfect name for the game at hand here. So I normally take some NyQuil if I can't sleep before one of these like later night broadcasts, and I chose not to today just because I was like, you know what, I'll be a man about it. I'll just go sleep. Instead, I rolled around in bed for 4 hours, did not sleep. So I got one of those 5-hour energy things, and I gotta tell you, I'm feeling super fucking full of energy, and I'm just waiting for the crash to come down now. Because it has been, I want to say, a little over 3 months since I've had my Red Bulls or my Monsters or anything on the side. So this little fucking thing's like the only energy drink I've had in a while.
I almost got a blue Red Bull. I was a little bit tempted for this cast, but I've been doing fine just with like half a cup of coffee. And,
one of my
actual sleep.
One of my biggest holdups for like why I don't get a lot of stuff too is like because I don't live near anything. It's not worth a 30-minute walk to go to the grocery store.
Oh God.
But
are you gonna gain 1,000 pounds now?
Well, maybe because the offset here is my new building has a gym built into it, right? But I'm gonna live close to so many things. I'm like 10 minutes. It blew me away. Oh my God, going to the city and realizing buses run every 10 minutes. This is coming from someone who's lived in the country for, I want to say 17, 18 years, where the buses run once every hour to hour and a half. This is the game changer.
Glad it's working out, man. Everything's lining up.
Everything's churning out aces. All right, game number 2 here on the BTSL.
Make sure you're not muted in real life next time. And everything will be aces. I'm sorry. Brought up a terrible point in your history.
Alright guys, this is Rifkin casting with the Momentum Killer. In the bottom right side of the map, we got... Is there a Terran player? It's Major.
In the bottom left is the blue Protoss. He is Stats.
Now, I'll ask Major about his name, see if he's got like a named account he can maybe swap to afterwards if he advances. But just to avoid the confusion, again, apologies because it doesn't say Major down here, guys. And normally I would just tab out, easy peasy, add a custom title. But again, we've had some issues and I don't want the stream to have to abruptly end for no real good reason. Now, that being said, there are still a lot of other really good players on the bracket for this. If you haven't seen, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Looks like Cloudy, by the way, did end up beating Breaking GG. going out to fight against Beyond, so that's a pretty good matchup. Surprising amount of TvPs, actually, all things considered, but I guess Korea really doesn't have too much Zerg representation. For the most part, it's like Biol, Solar, Scarlet, sometimes Leenock.
Leenock, Lucero's here.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
Yep,
Lucero showed up today. I forgot about that. He's playing against Solar right now as we speak.
Yep. And,
actually, oh god, please let this be Solar versus Beyond for like the 9th time in a row in the round of 8. I'm actually going to message Stairs right now. If that ends up being the case, he's got to hold out for us.
Alright. I see that stats is... Nope, that's not stats. That's major. Major is going for 2 base with a mind drop. So, I mean, a little bit more standard. I guess it's not to be necessarily a Widowmine drop. He is going in a 1-1-1, but that's what he did last game, too. If he went for the Raven again, it'd be cool and all, but...
I actually thought that Raven got a lot of effectiveness. Like, really justify the cost for that.
Yeah, it was a very effective Raven, but I do wonder if it's always the most effective thing to get. Like, if he's going to go tanks again is also another question. Maybe do a push on Newkirk. Once you take these third bases, it does kind of like become a smaller map, as both of these races usually take that like little pocket expansion.
Yeah.
At stats, this seems to be a very common attempted build this map too, which is a Stargate opener. I think Stargate openers have the most potential to be like, you know, that constant harassment, the constant map control. They can pick up units, but I have almost always seen them fail, to be honest. They can't handle the 2 base push after.
I'm a big fan of Stargate play in general for whatever different reasons you want to look at here. It's really weird to see Hellions coming out too, by the way, but this, I think, alone is enough to maybe scare Major off of going for the Raven. Maybe, because, of course, 1 Phoenix, bonus damage to light, the Raven's killed almost instantly, so that cost effectiveness won't be there like it was before. And I like that. That's a big part of the scout with the Reaper to see that, but Mothership 4 does get baited into overcharging, and it will chase the Hellions away for the time being.
Yeah, not a bad bait. 2 Hellions really not that expensive. The one downside is that your production is pretty much crap right now. Like, you don't have any very good units. You delayed even getting, like, a tank and another Widowmine, for instance. But there's no worry. Like, Stats is not getting ready to try and counter and take any control of that. By seeing 2 Adepts and really seeing the third base, Major now knows he doesn't even have to get a defensive tank if he really doesn't feel like you want to go tanks, which... I don't think you want to when you either go for a Stargate. If I were to just add a reactor onto that factory. But that Oracle's gonna get bopped if it goes in that mineral line, man.
Yeah, Major did hide a Widowmine, so he's got his base covered for the most part. His stats is paying a lot of attention. Maybe he can pick up all the gas mining SCVs, but that's kind of where you're limited to.
I love the checking right there. Like, I guess it is kind of common on Newkirk for the Widowmine to be right up against that edge.
Almost a really good Hellion run by. Stats was prepared for this, so I think a lot of players would have gotten caught off guard there, and that would have been 3 or 4 probes killed pretty easily too, but Stats had that on lockdown. Now, as he goes back in with the Oracle, one of the biggest problems here is not the Widowmine actually, but so much the Viking. There's just no way to really avoid that eventually killing you if you take the real damage, so maybe the Widowmine stays, maybe it moves out, but the point is there's not a lot that Oracle can really do right now.
No. Just a little bit of control revelation. And last game it didn't trip me up, but this game, the fact that Major has a Korean name is really tripping me up. I keep thinking he's Stats. I'm like, no, the red is Terran.
Yeah, it's the Terran player Stats.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean when I look at the names.
Yeah, I know. The Viking actually getting chased off by the Phoenix. What do I look at a hit? Nope. Psych pulls back.
Last reaction. Let's say that Viking.
Oh, I like that. The revelation to pick up that Widowmine is quite nice. For those who don't know, one-on-one situations, the Phoenix actually ends up beating out the Viking, which is kind of frustrating, I think, for the Terrans out there. So, really important that he had 2 Phoenixes to really make sure that got mowed down quickly, and they could maybe even consider picking up SCVs, but meanwhile, okay, the Widowmine's dealt with. What's the next problem? The drops coming northwards. I think he saw something leave the base with the Observer. He may not have seen exactly what, because he was, of course, microing those Phoenix, but that's a pretty safe bet that it's drops.
It's pretty important that he had an Observer there, too, because by using Revelation on that Widowmine, he wasn't in position to use Revelation on the Medivacs. And now he's not in position to use it on these Medivacs, but his air army is in direct path of those, so this might actually turn around on major.
Yeah, major kicking it up into over here though with a double drop. I mean, right now this isn't going to get a lot of damage, but if he waits to pair it up with this one, it could. Oh, the Phoenixes just barely move.
Okay, so this means with 3 Phoenixes, if you boost away, you can definitely unload most, if not all, the army. So it's not so bad.
That felt like a moment out of like one of those horror games. You walk around the corner and the monster's there, and you're just like, nope, 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 no.
Yeah, exactly. Mage not get anything done, but forcing Stats to start splitting up his units, and he did also, I think, force at least one of the observers back. So if Mage were to scan this one, Stats would never know if he was being pushed through the middle and might have units out of position.
Yeah.
But Major just getting a third base. Stats is really starting to reap the rewards from this fairly quick third. And this means that he has a much better chance of taking on the army of Major.
It's
just numbers.
It's really nice, though. I mean, on top of the fact that, okay, Stats had the foresight to move all these observers to X position and leave the, stuff down here to the drops, etc. It's not like Major's a bad player for not scanning it. It's just paying off really well for Stats. Of course, this drop comes in, overcharged a little bit late, but he's got several more locked and loaded. This drop's a little bit scary too, but 3 pylons on this side. I don't think Major breaks this base, not without taking a lot of losses.
No, it doesn't. He's really trying to get some important unit distracted, but it's been adepts and stalkers that are getting distracted, not a single immortal or a couple of sentries. Apparently, a couple probes go down to, I guess, a would have mine drop in the main as well. Yep.
Yeah, there's 2 down there. Sorry, excuse me. Stats has actually had really great reactions to those. You can see picking them up with a Phoenix. Of course, can chase down that medevac now. I don't know if he knows about the wood mines up here, which means engaging Major's army could be dangerous, but as we can see, the observer's out now.
Do it. Like, Major has really been he's been very ineffective this game, and it's really starting to show. He's gonna need some pretty nice wood mine hits to help out the numbers game that we have.
Ooh, this is bad though. Stats, of course, if you caught that earlier would be nice, but there's no real overcharges available. The adepts warp in. But at the same time, though, this is 3 drops worth of units missing from the defense, and Stats is on the edge of Major's base. There's no tank setup. There's no bunkers. If Stats goes in, he might just take a really good army fight.
I think he will. Like, this is not enough Marines either to really make this an issue. Like, if he loses a couple probes in the main, he's still going to win the game.
The Widowmines don't get us amazing hits. Stalkers blink in, and the Liberators go down immediately. Widowmine hits starting to look good now, but not good enough, and Stats will tie up the series 1-1.
Widowmines killing a lot of Marines.
It's okay, dude. They're looking at nerfing the damage, okay? Awkward. All right, guys, that's 2 games, so that's going to be a quick commercial break. We'll get into game number 3, the ace match of this series, in just a moment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. All right, folks, thanks for watching that break. Got some splice shout-outs in chat. Yeah, people cheering for Stats. Of course, if you guys missed last season's season finals, this is a bit funny to say that, both Solar and Stats got to play, so if you're Splice fans, woo! And I would hope to see them both make it to the season finals again. That would be really awesome. But folks, we are in game number 3. Things are tied up now 1-1. And in the upper right side of the map, we've got the red Terran player. It's Major.
In the bottom left is the blue Protoss. Damn it! It's Stats. Did it again.
Very Rifkin intro of you, Zombie Grub. You're not able to handle Stats. It's like that, you can't handle the truth. You can't handle Stats.
It's the damn Korean name. I see Korean, I just think it's the Korean. It's
yeah, a lot of you guys think we have the no barcodes rule because, we're worried about being able to identify the players. It's actually for Zombie Grub. We have to compensate for her handicap, and it's...
Look, okay, if it's English letters, I don't got a problem, including barcode.
If I can read the words that are in front of me, it ain't nothing but a thing.
Well, technically I can read Korean. It's not helping me.
Citybus? Stebu?
Stebu.
All right, well, Korean or non-Korean aside, I will say that that last game definitely felt weird out of Major. It didn't feel like there was almost any confidence in the gameplay. It definitely was, I think, a little more one-sided, and I'm not sure if that was just because the drops tripped up early. Maybe he just didn't, like, the Stargate shook him up more than we expected. Because I will say one thing we have seen consistently out of Major in the past is, like, he's a little bit, like, billowy, I think. where majOr has, without a doubt in my mind, the ability to beat almost any Korean player out there, but whether he does is kind of like a 50-50 thing.
Well, the problem for me was that he did try and do drops. Like, his build was not totally, you know, terrible. It wasn't like he went for a 1 base drop and then it didn't work and then he was screwed out of the game. He went 2 base into okay timed third, technically, but stats read him so well and was able to defend so well, too. Like, the fast third base to the Hellion / Widowmine opener, that didn't do very much, and then from then on, just defending against double drops. If majOr had done a 1 major push to the third and at least made stats sweat a little bit, that might be a very different game. But there really wasn't that much pressure for stats. He dealt with everything as easy as can be, basically. Just a couple floated overcharges. That was an expensive building to make and then cancel. Also, that tore my heart out. He made a Ghost Academy accidentally.
Feels bad, man.
That's expensive.
I guess we've just been cast. So the funny thing is we've seen more of these maps through the Corsair Cup and the European stuff more than the Koreans, and I guess I gotten so used to all the Zerg taking the forward base, it actually weirded me out seeing both of them take their pocket naturals. I'm like, wait, is this the right base? What's going on here?
I wonder if Terrans will ever try and take that. Nah, I don't think there's any reason to take that base.
You know what? If you're playing against Terran, maybe with an asterisk, but I think versus Protoss and versus Zerg, it's too risky to have that gap.
Yeah, either way, because the main thing that really sucks about Proxima Station is that it looks like it's this great macro map, which technically it is. Easy 3 bases, and a 4th isn't too bad, and it's a gold sometimes. But it's that when you do expand, there's a lot of locations to drop and hide units that are pre-dropped. So if you don't have scouting, then you're kind of screwed. So either way, you expand in the natural or to the front, you're kind of going to have still a lot of spaces to watch out for as any race.
So the Reaper didn't get a lot done with scouting this game, which is unfortunate. I don't know. Actually, I'm just going to confirm real quick. Oh, he did actually see the Stargate, just barely, excuse me. So that's actually a really nice scout. But I was going to say he fumbled in the natural, so he didn't see the timing of the third. He can guess because the pylon was out, we kind of know. But that Reaper didn't get to see much for majOr. Now he's just kind of coming in blindly with his Widowmine drop. He will not see the third still as he goes straight to the natural. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Sometimes it's worth to still do the Widowmine drop against a Stargate opener, and this might be one of those occasions that it is, because he does have Marines with this. The pylon isn't done.
Don't think the Mothership Core is going to die for this, though, so he picks up, goes to the main. There's no pylon over here, actually, so if he had been able to get that Widowmine down, that would have been fantastic, but as we see, scooped up and killed by the Phoenix.
Well, this is what I talk about. It's not terrible if you can really... It didn't get something like a Phoenix and 5 probes or a Mothership Core kill, then it might be worth losing the medevac even.
Well, this certainly isn't the 20 kills we saw at Gumiho earlier today.
God, no. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no. Sats does hold this pretty damn well, but majOr did the best of a bad scenario.
Yeah, I mean, even at that last second we saw those last 2 Marines, they chose to focus, fire down a probe instead of wasting shots into depth. Like, kudos to majOr getting the most done with what he had available, but unfortunately the most was 3 probes killed, and that certainly wasn't worth the cost.
Yeah, 3 probes, a Phoenix, and an Adept. Well, yeah.
That's true, the Adept too, yeah. Excuse me.
As I said, it's probably okay, but it's usually that you want to keep the medevac alive and continue harassing or join up later for a bigger attack. So once again, Stats kind of gets away with this really fast third, and majOr has got to think of a better way, basically, than last game. Because if Stats is on point like last game, and majOr does the exact same thing, well, we know how that goes. If Stats isn't on point and majOr does the exact same thing, then it's very different.
There's some very important things I need to report in the bracket, by the way. So first off, Lucira beats Solar, and they're going to hold that match. So next up, we got Beyond versus Solar. Versus Lucira. Hype. But more importantly, M. Canning up 1-0 versus Gumiho, baby. Rifkin's not hyping up this guy for no reason, guys. I mean, M. Canning is like the next Neeb Bonjour. Just wait. Okay, maybe that's over-exaggerated.
Okay, calm down there, buddy.
Yeah. But still, it's cool to see him doing well, and I hope to see him continue to improve. We did have a couple of subs come in. By the way, thank you, Eider, for the 23 months. This is almost 2 years. And then, of course, the main man, Maynard, from down under. 6 months is Ace Lude. Thank you very much. You know, I think it was like last week was Australia Day. Did you make sure to wish Maynard a happy Australia Day?
I did not.
Oh, for shame, Zombie.
Oh wait,
Grub.
were we casting on Australia Day? Yeah, I think we were. I think we were like talking about what they do on Australia Day.
Well, you and Maynard? Because I wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, that's what. Yeah. Maynard and I were casting. We were talking about what happens on Australia Day with the barbecue, and I was like, "So it's the 4th of July." Because America.
America.
For everything.
All right. Well, majOr does have a pretty nice army supply going for him. If Stats decides to push out for any reason with this awkward as hell force, he will regret it. But he does have Immortals and stuff, not Colossus is the priority for the time being, so certainly has units to fight with. I'm waiting to see if these Widow Mines get anything done, though. This drop is a little bit more unexpected. It's definitely a little bit risky for what it could possibly do, and Stats very quick to respond. And just kill 2 probes and that'll be about it.
Good. Yeah, 3 probes that you get out with the medevac and force the army. Maybe out of position. There's not much else going on, and Stats does have units patrolling the most common drop area on Proxima, but technically there's the left side of the map as well that isn't covered. It had to be a pretty big drop, though, to really be worth getting stuck in the natural, basically. You have to really know that it's going to do something. But majOr took his 3rd at a pretty okay time, and he did not overdo the drops. You know, have 2 drops that didn't really do very much. Both of them double drops. Like, that was last game. This game is a bit more of that main force pushing the front.
There's actually something really important going on for Stats behind this, though. I didn't realize he built a 2nd Robo, so he's got double Colossus production. majOr has no hopes of killing Stats here. He might be able to trade out army, but if he does, the Colossus, I think, end up cleaning up and wiping out the end game, so to speak. He's going to go around this and maybe like to do more harass, and I guess that's okay, but my worry is that he's not going to have 2 Stargates producing like 4 Vikings at a time. He's barely started Liberators here. I actually think the 2 Colossus production is just going to be a little bit too much for him, possibly. But if Stats gets sandwiched in, like what might happen here, that could all change.
And it's just going to be pulled apart a little bit, not sandwiched, so a bit dangerous from majOr, but Blink is not done. He could have maybe committed a little bit more. He still gets 10 probes, so worth.
Yeah, that's not bad because he traded out only a couple Marines. He did segment his army away for that, and I like that too. Gonna maybe get a cancel on this space. We do have Liberators setting up, a couple of Widow Mines paired with them. This gold is not a necessity, so losing this isn't the end of the world.
No, it's already like 75% done though, so it does suck that he has to cancel it. Barely got that cancel.
Left side's picked up. Stalkers are not
no,
numerous.
It's not numerous, but still managed to get 1 medevac, probably a 2nd one.
Oh, feels bad, man. That should not have happened. majOr could have certainly just moved those away earlier. It sucks, but also good pickoff out of Stats, recognizing that majOr was definitely focusing down here where the Liberators were, and not maybe on where those medevacs were hovering idle. This is getting really worrisome. There's no chance Stats fumbles into like a couple of Widow Mines, and even if he does, I still don't know that's enough to really kill him. The Liberators could potentially be game changers here. We talked about this. We don't know what their effectiveness looks like with a 75 damage a shot. We're gonna find out obviously in a moment. It's not that many Stalkers to blink underneath this. However, there's still more than enough to kill Liberators.
Well, they blink kind of into the bio as well, but that only leaves the 2 Liberators off to the right side, so Stats just manages to avoid it. majOr losing that army supply really hurts him here, because he is depending basically on a good concave of bio. The Viking count has finally risen, though, 4 at a time. Just needs a couple of seconds.
That being said, though, there's still so many Adepts on the ground. My concern here is, like, Vikings are not bad versus Stalkers, but they're going to get wrecked by the Immortals and the Adepts, I feel. So, like, okay, you clean out the Colossus, that's one thing, but you can't exactly land them for efficiency like you normally do. I almost feel like I like that he's starting to mix like a Liberator back into the production round, like 1 here, 1 there, but eventually at some point 3 bases is going to run out of money, and that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, he can't be stuck here forever, but the Vikings are going to be able to take out the Colossus without going down, but I think the bio went down too quickly anyway.
Yeah, this is looking pretty grim for majOr. Stats has forced an SCV pull out of him. Last few Marauders are dying out as we speak. There's no counterattack damage going on whatsoever, and I think, unfortunately, we're going to see majOr get knocked out of the tournament. GG.
GG.
All right, well, good series out of Stats. And he'll advance on in the brackets to go fight off against Billowy in a PvP. Billowy, by the way, is actually pretty good at PvP, so good luck to stats. But as we had mentioned, Beyond and Lucira was held for us, so we don't want to keep them waiting too long. We're going to play 2 minutes of commercials while we get the map for Abyssal Reef set up. And we'll see you guys in a bit for a brand new best of 3. Stay tuned for the round of 8s.